Hey, if you built your website with a pre-made template, or you're thinking about building a website with a pre-made template, there's a very high chance that you're actually limiting the return on investment that you'll get out of your website. And the fact is, I understand the appeal. Having a template that's already built out, there's colors, there's fonts, there's photos, there's look and feel. It can make things easy, or at least it gives the appearance of simplicity and the appearance of ease. However, in the long run, instead of actually getting results out of your website, you're going to find that you're actually blending in. And so in today's video, we're going to walk through a few of the different reasons why using a pre-built template, or at least sticking to that template very closely, is going to actually limit your growth as your website actually progresses. And then we're also going to give you some tips for if you actually use a template, some things that you want to make sure that you're actually changing out and switching out and customizing for your specific brand. And then I'm going to walk you through just a quick overview of a strategy that I recommend for building a website instead of using a cookie cutter pre-made template. After all, if you use a cookie cutter template, odds are you're going to get cookie cutter results. Hey, if we haven't met yet, my name is Brandon Ritchie. I own a creative agency called Ritchie Creative that helps pastors and church leaders and entrepreneurs and nonprofit leaders build websites and branding strategies that actually get results. And what we've seen after helping hundreds of great businesses, churches, and nonprofits is a lot of times the thing that's actually making a website not function the way that it should, or bring in the amount of donations or sales or leads that you would like for it to. A lot of times it's not a design problem. It's not the aesthetics. Sometimes it can be, but a lot of times it's a strategy problem. There's not an intentional strategy baked into the website design itself. So in just a second, we're going to actually go over a couple of the key issues that are commonly associated with using a pre-built cookie cutter template. Before we get into that, I want to go over something that I refer to as the illusion of easy. Essentially what this means is anything that is positioning itself to be just a magic pill, I'm instantly very skeptical. So if somebody told me there's a new pill out that can help you to lose 20 pounds of body fat within one day. Number one, I would be very skeptical because that's a huge amount of weight to lose in one day. And number two, I would highly doubt that it would work in the first place, because we know that losing weight is a result of, having an intentional plan, following that plan, effort and energy over time. And so the easier and the more simplistic that something seems to be, the more skeptical you should just generally be of it, just as a general rule of thumb. And so website templates, they kind of promise this idea of, hey, with one click in 5 minutes, you can have a beautiful website that's going to function the way that you want it to. However, there's no magic pill when it comes to website strategy. And so again, if you want to actually build a website that's going to get the donations and the leads and the interest that you're actually wanting long-term, you need to bake an intentional strategy into it. So again, here are the top problems associated with using a pre-made cookie cutter website template. The first problem is that these pre-made cookie cutter templates, whether it's in Squarespace or Wix or WordPress, they're not built with strategy in mind. In fact, I've been to some of these templates that don't even have any calls to action as you're scrolling down the homepage. There's no pictures of humans anywhere, just product photos or just generic photos of the woods or the ocean or the mountains or something like that. And so there's really no intentional website strategy. They're building these templates because they want it to be as easy for any person in any industry to have it appeal to them. So they want to make them as vague as possible. Kind of like a one-size-fits-all, where anybody that is either in a service-based business or an e-commerce business or a nonprofit or a church, they could go to Squarespace or Wix or WordPress. They're going to see these templates and find them appealing. So again, they're not built with an intentional strategy in mind. You should have unique goals for your business, for your agency, for your organization. And these pre-made templates just are not built with that strategy in mind. The second issue with these kinds of pre-made cookie cutter templates is they aren't built for your unique brand. You have a unique DNA. If you're a business, let's say that you are a roofing company, and let's say that there is a different roofing company in your city, you guys don't need to have the same website because you are probably serving a different audience, or you're leaning into a different pain point that they may be experiencing. So one of the roofing companies might be targeting more high-end homes, more wealthy individuals, while the other one might be trying to serve the everyday person, the everyday family that's looking for an affordable solution. So you have a unique brand DNA, and this needs to be reflected in the colors that you're using on your website and the types of photos that you're choosing to implement on the website, even the different sections that you're including on the homepage, the copy and the content that is in those sections. And so really all of these different things are going to cater to your audience. So if you're a church, think through your demographic. How many older people versus younger people are visiting on a Sunday morning? What's your geographic region? One church that's on the East Coast is probably going to have a far different marketing strategy than somebody that's on the West Coast. churches. Think through your denomination. Are you a Baptist church? Are you a Presbyterian church? Are you a Methodist church? So all of these different things work together to actually give you a unique DNA. And again, whether you're a church or a business or a nonprofit or an individual, you are unique. And so your website needs to be unique as well. And again, this plays out by the colors, the fonts, the typography, everything, including photos that you're implementing on your website. And the third big issue with leaning into these pre-built website templates, it makes you blend in instead of standing out. No joke, I have been to a restaurant or the website of a restaurant in one city, and then a week later visited a different restaurant's website, and it looked exactly the same. Same photos, same colors, same fonts. And the reason is they were both Squarespace websites that used the same restaurant template, and they didn't change anything. They didn't customize it to their unique DNA. So again, you don't want to be a church that has the same website as a different church. You don't want to be a business that has the same website as a different business. If you do that, then people are going to get, number one, confused because there's no brand differentiation. But then number two, you're going to blend into the background, and you don't want that. You want your brand to be custom, you want it to be unique, and you want your website to stand out. Now, am I saying that you should never use a pre-built website template even as a starting point? Of course not. I think it can be a great tool to kind of get you to the starting line. But please, if you're going to use a pre-built template, you need to change photos and colors and fonts and the look and feel and add sections and remove sections that don't make sense. A lot of these templates, they're using filler sections just to kind of make the website look great, but you don't actually need some of those sections. And a bigger issue than that is oftentimes they're leaving out sections that you actually do need to be including in the homepage of your website. So again, you can use these pre-built website templates as a starting point, but make sure that you're changing things and customizing things to fit the unique DNA that your brand has. In fact, one of my greatest design philosophies related to website design is that a great website strategy doesn't start on a computer screen. It starts with a piece of paper and a pencil. Before you even log into WordPress or Squarespace or start looking at templates or start designing, make sure that you're actually brainstorming and planning your website, thinking through your goals, thinking through what the website actually exists to do in the first place, and then really starting to think through the sections that need to show up, the colors that you want to use, the types of fonts that you want to incorporate. So again, don't start on a computer. You need to start your website strategy with a piece of paper or a pencil. Don't jump in and start designing right away before you've actually built a plan. By the way, in just a second, we're going to look at an overview of the 4-part framework that we recommend for building an intentional website strategy that actually gets results. But before we get to that, we put together a free resource. It's actually a Google Doc, and there's no opt-in required, no email needed or anything like that. The link's in the description, but it's called the Template Transformation Checklist. So if you built your current website using a pre-built template, or you're planning on building a website using a template, and you're just not sure what are the 10 or 15 or 20 things that I need to be customizing or changing to make my website unique and specific to me and to my organization, it's a Google Doc, no opt-in required, no email required. The link's in the description for that, the Template Transformation Checklist. Okay, so what does an intentional website strategy actually look like? So this is the 4-part framework that we've used for hundreds and hundreds of great websites. It works for churches, it works for businesses, it works for nonprofits. But again, this website strategy is one that's actually going to get results because you're tailor-making it for your specific organization. It's really 4 parts: mission, messaging, marketing, and meaningful experiences. So we call this 4-part framework the website strategy roadmap. And the first section there for mission, it's all about website planning. So actually figuring out, what does our website actually exist to do in the first place? What's the point of the website? Are we trying to get more donations, get more clicks? Are we trying to get people to watch more of our sermons on the sermons page? Regardless of your niche or your industry, what does your website actually exist to do? And then we want to set really good goals, and we want to track those goals and measure those goals over time. So if you're not actually setting goals for your website, I'd highly recommend it, because you don't know if you're actually having success if you don't know what success actually looks like in the first place. And then, of course, building a passionate purpose. What is the bigger thing behind why our website actually exists? So it's not actually the thing you're doing or the task you're doing or the service you're offering, but the way that you're actually making the world a better place and adding value to the end user. So again, mission is the first part of the website strategy roadmap. The second part of the 4-part framework is messaging. This is essentially, what are we actually saying on our website? What are we communicating? Do we have clarity? Is it compelling? Do people actually want to click the get started buttons because you're actually saying the right things that are kind of triggering the right emotions for your end user? And on your homepage, do you have the right sections in the right order? And is all of it kind of funneling somebody down the right path to actually want to get started with your organization or with your service? After the messaging section of the website strategy roadmap, we have the marketing section. This is essentially some of the stuff we talked about earlier in terms of color and typography and look and feel and the photos that you're using and the aesthetics and the design elements. So again, we want to make sure that all of these different visual elements are actually compelling and actually communicating the right things so that your end user is actually taking action on your website. Also in this section, we recommend having a lead generator, a way that you're actually offering free value or a free PDF in exchange for an email address, and then a really good nurture sequence, a really good follow-up plan for that person so that you can be sending them an email once a week or once a month or whatever frequency makes the most sense for your industry. But again, this is the marketing section of the website strategy roadmap. And then the fourth and final section is meaningful experiences. You could have great messaging and great marketing, and the aesthetics and the photos and the look and feel could be perfect. But if the text is too small, or the buttons aren't really hyperlinking the way that they're supposed to, or there's other glitches or issues on the website, you're going to drive people away from your website instead of into the funnel that you're trying to create in the first place. So this section is all about making sure that people on your website have a great experience and they actually trust you and they want to work with your brand. So again, this is the meaningful experiences section. The overview there is mission, messaging, marketing, and meaningful experiences. I know that this was a super high level view of the website strategy roadmap and of this 4-part framework. If you want to take a deep dive in it, then we do have our new book, The Website Strategy Roadmap. It basically breaks down the formula and it breaks down each of these 4 different sections into very, very tangible steps. So that basically at the end of the book, you will have an intentional website for your specific website and for your specific brand. If you're interested in that, you can get your copy at websitestrategyroadmap.com. But again, if you're going to use a pre-built template for your website, make sure that you're changing things, you're customizing things, and you're not leaving the template as is. You don't want your website to look like somebody else's, and you have a unique DNA as an organization, as a business, as a church, as a nonprofit. And so you need to be communicating those differences with your visuals, with your colors, with your fonts, and with the messaging and the things that you're actually saying on your website itself. Well, hopefully this was a helpful video just to kind of rethink some of the ways that you might be thinking about website design or website strategy. Also just wanted to say a quick thank you to everybody who watches these videos and likes these videos and is supporting and subscribed to the channel. It means a ton to me personally, so thank you so much. Remember, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Stay creative, and we'll catch you next time.